I'm from the city is still. I'm from the city is still. What is up, everybody? Thank you so much for joining us for an early edition of Sports Card Talk. Today we're early because we were expecting a guest. However, due to some plans, guest will be on with us next week. So we decided just to go ahead and stick with the time and roll with it. So what is going on, Nate? How you doing this week, man?
Good, man. Good. Just chugging away at work and that type of stuff. Got some cards back from PSA. I'll have a video coming out next week, probably Monday or Tuesday.
Nice.
To do a little reveal of that and everything like that. But can't really complain. Things are pretty good.
So what's up, man?
How about you?
You know, things have been good, man. Just been busy, trying to grind, trying to figure out this new grading process and stuff. And, on top of it, keep up with like everything I'm trying to sell and or content. You know what I mean? It gets to be a bit much. Like you got to the point yesterday, I didn't even have time to make a video.
You've been checking out the playoffs and everything?
Yeah, I watched a good bit of the game last night with Golden State and the Grizzlies, man. Ja Morant looked good. Steph Curry was looking good. Definitely a nice game, man.
Yeah, I was shocked. Since they started doing like the playing tournaments or whatever, like I've been back to my betting ways here and there, and I thought Golden State was going to win that game, but man, like Dylan Brooks is another one of those guys that can really, D up when your main, scores or whatever. It's going to give guys a little bit of a fit. So if a team is a little more one-dimensional, kind of like how the Warriors were yesterday and how they've been since, they don't have Klay Thompson or anybody, they're gonna make some people earn their victories. That's for sure.
Yeah, I can imagine. Absolutely. So you looking for anybody specific, like to get increased like value this playoff season? Like, is there any players like that you have your eye on or whatnot?
Honestly, at this point, I mean, unless like something changes where like it totally kind of throws off the scale of what we kind of expect before the playoffs started, or actually probably like a month or so before the playoffs started. I'm kind of totally in sell mode right now. And then once it gets towards like the middle of the finals, or maybe at the beginning of the finals, depending on how things are and who's in there, that's when I start picking up cards more and more, because you kind of get that downward slope. It's not, there's no basketball to be heard of, or most of the teams are out of it. So there's a lot of good possibilities of getting a lot of things a lot cheaper than normal.
What's up, Blaze? Good to see you, my man. Appreciate you being here.
What up?
$100.
You know what?
That's what's up, man. Always love seeing a local person in the chat. It's always really cool. So appreciate you being here, man. Yeah, I agree with you, dude. I'm pretty much in total sell mode across the board right now, outside of some stuff that just doesn't have like, for example, it's not season yet. Like, so it's not time to sell because I'd be selling at like a disadvantage.
Right.
But outside of that stuff that I'm just basically holding, majority of my stuff is basically just like, let's blow this out. Like I have investment pieces and stuff like that I deem long-term that I just kind of have stashed that I'm not messing with. But for the most part, 90% of my stuff is basically, let's sell it, get rid of it, make some money.
Yeah, man.
Good to see you, man.
After like Tatum's game, for them to get in the 7th seed and, watching Ja Morant just kind of basically take over yesterday, I was looking at prices and stuff like that, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is where Ja Morant's going to start to rebound. Maybe you see a nice $20, $30 spike, but, that'll be something I'll be looking into seeing now. That there's, a little more time after the game has, over and everything, and now they're officially in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe what Ja Morant's prices were at, man. Like his base prisms were PSA 9s and stuff like that were like around $100. I mean,
yeah,
to see a guy go off like he did last night and, if he can kind of add a little more of the like assist numbers and stuff like that to be a little more of a point guard versus he's kind of like a shooting guard, but he brings the ball up. I think that would help with his value moving forward.
Yeah, I agree.
I couldn't believe that. I was looking at his assists and stuff like that, and I think his average assists is like 6 assists a game or something like that. So I thought he was going to be a lot more because he wasn't scoring as much as earlier in the season last year.
Yeah.
But their team is so young and they have so many different players that gets a chance to play and everything like that. I think he's the highest scorer on the team, and he's ranked 35th in the league. So if that tells you anything, they're pretty well-rounded in the scoring. Yeah. Everyone kind of gets a shot at doing what they do.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely, man. So here's a question here by Blaze. He wants to know, he's going to his first national in Chicago at the end of July to get cards graded. He's an old-school collector. Any tips or such? That's awesome, dude. I'm going to my first national as well in same time, so maybe we'll get to see each other there. That'd be pretty dope. But so as far as like any tips, come in with a game plan, like some things that you are looking for, because it's going to be kind of overwhelming when you see like the sheer volume of stuff that's there.
Oh yeah.
I would expect there to be a good bit of high-end stuff as well. So if you're big game hunting, I would definitely, have a good idea of kind of what you're looking for and stuff like that. I always kind of enter a show with a game plan. Like, first thing I want to do is I want to look at all the big stuff. You know what I mean? Because if there's a move to be made, whether I'm trying to buy something or trade for something, then that's probably going to be the biggest, quickest, fastest money maker for me. After I'm done with the big stuff, like my goal typically is just to revert to bargain boxes, digging for those, dollar and under $1 cards that are gradable that I can send in. You know what I mean? A lot of times people will put, $5 to $8 cards in bargain bins just because they want them basically gone, and they, don't want to deal with the headache of it. So I target a lot of that stuff too, and that's a good part of how I build up a lot of my bankroll. Is I buy a lot of really low end stuff. I grade it. I, get it to where it's a little more valuable. And then I use those to kind of flip over and over again to kind of move into like the bigger type items and stuff like that, if that makes sense. What kind of tips would you have, Nate, going to like a big show like that?
Honestly, like, I've never really went to a big show, but I watched a lot of different coverage of different people and different stuff like that. And the one thing that they always say is you can see a change in the room. You could see a card prices going up in a matter of, hours, versus maybe like in the normal market, maybe it takes a week or two to kind of see the numbers just gradually go up. You'll see a demand for a guy just kind of go crazy, and then everyone trying to follow suit because this person bought that or whatever. So my main thing would be, depending on what you have, I probably wouldn't sell anything the first day. I would probably sit back, kind of see what everyone's doing, unless there's somebody you're like, man, I just want to get my money back, or, I'm up big time on this. I'm going to use this to fund my trip. You just want to dump something, then that's different. But honestly, I would just keep my ears open, listen to kind of what everyone's, the hype's going for with people, and then see if you can get some of those guys that may be a little undervalued, and now you have some trade pieces or cards that can help you get into the bigger ones and save you some money, because those are the cards people will typically pay up for, or maybe a little overvalue, because there's we've seen that with Trae Young early in the season. His cards went crazy. Luka, like last year, and Zion and different players like that. So always keep your ears open. Even if you don't have any of that guy, then you can kind of, walk around and pick up those guys maybe for a little bit of a deal, and then, make a move on something, that's personal, personally you want, and, network with people, man. That's one thing too, is definitely be there to try and get phone numbers and Twitters and different things like that, because people will tell you right on their Twitter, hey, I collect this guy, that guy. Or they'll say, hey, if you find this card, message me. and then boom, you have a connection to move cards or maybe buy some down the future, because people usually like return the favor, getting it a good deal and stuff like that. So
Blaze says you got about 50 cards to get graded. I haven't really looked too deep into it. Is there going to be like a company there grading at the National? But he says you got about 50 cards to get graded. Jordan, Shaq, Kobe, LeBron, rookies, stuff like that. That's awesome, man. Yeah, there's big money in that stuff. I would suggest for that big stuff and go PSA, like, because you'll get the most bang for your buck on the resale market. The only problem is it's going to take the longest. They don't open till July anyway, so you're good to wait on that. But any like lower end stuff you want to get graded, like I don't see any problem with going with another company that could bang it out a lot faster.
I mean, I think we're going to be at the point where everyone's going to be kind of like right around the same ballpark, unless their prices or their kind of like how HGA does, where they only allow X amount of cards to get graded. I
hope it doesn't get to that. That would suck if that was like industry standard, like where you can like, honestly, that's like the equivalent of going to Walmart or Target and like finding no cards all the time. You know what I mean? Like that's just how I feel. It's like, dang it.
I mean, if you think about it, CSG is starting to get backed up.
They're slam, bro.
Beckett. I mean, all the bigger names are the best deal for your buck, where you can kind of get that value play, like kind of how you're using
GMA.
GMA and things like that. So those people are, kind of on the same boat. So depending on what PSA is going to do, it could really shape how the market kind of turns, because ever since PSA stopped grading, it's kind of things have kind of slowed down a little bit. I don't know if people are just, okay, I'm going to wait, or, I'm going to come back and see how things go depending on what PSA does.
Yeah. I mean, the market was already a little bit funky when they shut down, and then it was like really funky, like I think that's what happened, like to where like a lot of people that were mainly just in it, like just trying to flip and make money, like they saw how liquid it was and like how fast it flipped, and just how people were just like willy-nilly just like buying up everything for like record prices. And then like all of like the dip happened, you know what I mean, and PSA shut down and all that stuff happened. And I think a lot of people that have money in the hobby, I think a lot of people are pulling out. A lot of people are just like, what, screw it. I'll just take what I got on this. Like, I just want out. Personally, that's what I think. I think that's happening a lot. Like, I don't know if it's like widespread, but I think that there's a lot of people that are like, okay, this isn't fun anymore. I can't get like 10x,
Well, so, I mean, after you see like so many cards just go up and go up and go up, and then it kind of does like a roundabout, and then it's like, okay, well, Luka's going to go up more, or Zion's going to go up more, or LeBron's going to go up more. Eventually that, that twist and turn stops because the money's not there as much anymore. Like, of course, there was outside, the collectors and big business inside the market, and trying to invest, trying to make money, trying to make a big bang, real quick, because of the way the market is around the world with COVID and different things like that. So, that happening anytime you have, a guy like Vegas Dave or something like that, even if not everyone believes what he has to say or anything like that, it puts a little bit of fear into the market. So you add how people kind of pulled out. PSA is not in the market because, I mean, they're in the market, but they're not currently getting more cards sent in and everything like that. It just kind of made it into like this little bit of a stall for the most part.
Yeah, definitely. That's the tough part, man. You know what I mean? Especially like not knowing, and then in the back of everybody's mind, you always think of the 90s, the junk wax era, like, and the big thing going around, YouTube, social media, like, are we in a junk slab era? Which we might be, you know what I mean? Like, look at 2019 Prism compared to like literally any other graded set of all time. It's like astronomical. So, I mean, we very well might be. I think, the grading companies are trying to control the pops more and more. You know what I mean? So that I think that's a positive. But man, it's difficult, you know what I mean? Because we don't know what's going to happen. But one thing I can say is between like the years of like 2000 to 2017, before like Luka came in and things started heating up again, there still was a pretty thriving market. I mean, it wasn't like it is now, but
Right.
you know what I mean? Like there was still big money in sports cards. It wasn't quite like the record numbers we're seeing now that like everybody and their mom fell back into it through the nostalgia of being trapped in their homes due to a global pandemic.
Right.
But, even if we revert back to what it was in 2017, there's still money to be made. You know what I mean? And prices for things are going to drop. So we're not going to be paying $2,000 for a box of Prism if, the resale value of Prism is like 2017 prices. So I think everything's going to begin to adjust with the market. Like, for example, GMA, right? They raised their prices. They're already back down to $8 for bulk. You know what I mean? Because obviously, like, people are going to send their cards to like more reputable companies for the same price. You know what I mean? Like, nothing against GMA. I always appreciated their service, and they always gave me a fast turnaround time, and I never had any issues. But it's just the way people view it. You know what I mean?
Oh, I totally agree. I mean, whenever SGC went to 75, like that was their big play that they missed on. I don't know if they thought, well, we're going to get backed up, so we're going to jump ahead and just up our price now. They should have got a bunch of wave of cards in, and then eventually raised up a little. And instead, they made everyone go the opposite way. So instead of going to them, they went to CSG, they went to GMA, they went to Beckett, they went to HGA. I mean, there's just so many companies now that people are using now that that are coming out the woodwork. So
the crazy thing is, I think the main reason that they went up to that 75 was to stop people submitting, because they came out and said within like the 36 hours the PSA had been shut down, they had received like 4 times what they normally would in like a week. Just in like that small time frame in between PSA and them upping prices.
Yeah, they got a little touch of what PSA gets on a daily basis, or maybe even something close to it. And anytime you have a company that's used to X and they get 10 times that or 100 times that, I mean, they panic, and that's what they kind of did. And they went way too high. And I wish they probably would have. They probably wish they probably did that a little bit differently. Because like I said, it swung the market into the favor of other companies versus them.
Yep. I agree, man. SGC's had kind of like 2 really big kind of blunders. Like between that and the year before when everything shut down and they were like the only one in town, like they just kind of let things build up till they had to shut down. You know what I mean? So it's sort of like PSA is almost kind of like just following what they did last year almost. But I totally agree, man. So let's see. Blaze said, I saw PSA will be automated grading software. They need to, man. I really think that AI is the future, because here's the thing. If me and Nate both look at the same card, we could come up with 2 different grades. Even though we both deal with group submissions, even though we both have great eyes for grading, it's not, even though we could still be going against the same grade scale too. Like we could still come up with 2 different grades because we're 2 different people. So I think AI is kind of going to be industry standard, because it eliminates let's just crack this and send it somewhere else because they're easier on this or they're easier on that. It's like, no, it's like legitimately AI scans it for any defects, and then a human being just confirms whatever it shows. You know what I mean? So I really feel like that is the wave of the future. And like, honestly, like if this is a 9 with PSA, it should be a 9 with Beckett. It should be a 9 with HGA. Should be a 9 with SGC. Should be a 9 with PGX. Should be a 9 with GMA. Should be a 9 with every single company. You know what I mean? And that's what sucks, is that oftentimes, like, even though this is a 9 with PSA, it might turn into, an 8.5 with Beckett or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, just for example. But yeah, I definitely think that needs to be like standard. Considering a different service, but I know PSA sells the best from what I've seen. Yeah, so typically PSA sells anywhere from 20 to 40% above like some of the other bigger ones. Like right now, like BGS, which was technically before PSA became the top dog, BGS was the top dog. Right now, their 9.5, which is their gem mint, is selling right in the ballpark of a PSA 9. So I actually think like if people are out there buying like arbitrage slabs, just investment purposes, I think the BGS 9.5 is way undervalued right now. Yeah, if you can get a gem mint for the same price as a mint, you know what I mean? Like,
if you think about it, they kind of grade that way. You know what I mean? Like a 9.5 is really like a 9 in PSA. You know what I mean? Where with the 10 is like the most immaculate thing ever to walk the earth. But just like, we have all seen on PSA 10s, there's a little wiggle room with like the centering and stuff like that. So, there's going to be a little bit of a difference, but the way that they scale that is the reason why the values are like that. You know what I mean? And it's so much easier to get a 9.5. Like if you had to count all the grades or whatever, look at all the pop reports on Beckett, there's going to be more 9.5s probably than anything they have ever graded, because everything, coming out of the pack could have a little divot or ding or whatever, and automatically in perfect condition coming out of the pack by the person ripping, that's the best it's going to be. So, they grade so hard, which I think they thought would be a good thing, but in a way it actually was a bad thing. And that's why, like, kind of, the difference in the scale or whatever the case you want to call it.
Let's see what's up to my man Johnny. I appreciate you being here, bro. Theodore said, new basketball base to get graded, losing proposition. I'm buying PSA 9 baseball Bowman cards that are under $30 of prospects that I feel will produce. Yeah, baseball is so, like, good for good, like, just like he's saying, it's so cheap. You know what I mean? I just don't get it, man. And like the like you said, the base is definitely not. If you're not hitting 10s on a lot of that, like you're gonna be struggling to even like kind of break even on some of that stuff. Because right now, like PSA 9 is even semi close to raw on a lot of like the more like ultra modern stuff for the most part.
Sorry about that.
You like that? Yours pipes down and mine starts up.
It's tough, man. I got 5 kids and a dog and a wife upstairs, and getting them all to calm down for like just a little bit is especially around lunchtime, they get a little antsy and that pantsy for lunch, so. But yeah, baseball, it was always kind of the market that kind of was like, it seemed like one of the last to kind of move. Even when basketball was soaring and going nuts, you seen baseball kind of it moved, but it didn't like move. You know what I mean? Where you could buy a Gem Mint 10 Tatis when he first came out into the league, and next it went from say 50 to 600. You know what I mean? Like there was a jump, but I don't think there was that kind of jump the way that like Zion went from a couple grand for his like silver PSA 10 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think it just kind of, some of the people that are in the market, collectors, investors combined that are like, hey, I'm not giving up on this. I'm going to look farther, deeper into the market and see what is kind of left standing as being something profitable or have a chance of being profitable. And now that baseball is back around, and they're going basically their full season for the most part. There's a lot of games going on, a lot of high expectations and stuff like that. Because honestly, if you think about it, hockey's about the end, and basketball just started. Well, they're not about the end, but they're both in the playoffs right now. So there's not going to be a lot more hockey and basketball left. Now there's just baseball on TV, and then next like football eventually will come towards the end whenever baseball is done.
Yep. Exactly.
So it just kind of falls in just waves, and baseball is just kind of just a little a little more undervalued than I would say most.
Mm-hmm. I agree, man. I definitely agree. What do you think is going to happen with the football market this year? Do you think like this big wave that we were expecting last year, fantasy football having an impact, is going to like actually happen, or do you think it's going to, be more so quarterbacks, and more quarterbacks still?
I mean, for the most part, I'm gonna say it's gonna be probably the same, for certain guys and quarterbacks and stuff like that. But like, just like say like back in the day when the Patriots went undefeated, you get a team like that who went undefeated throughout the season. Typically all their cards will kind of get a little bit of a raise. So if you're able to pick up cards of teams that you think are just gonna like storm through the season, and you're picking up like a rookie running back who, like Edwards-Helaire for the Chiefs, for example.
Yeah.
He might be a guy you might want to, start grabbing up right now. You know what I mean? Because of, exactly kind of what I said. Just like he's a young running back. Running back market isn't always the strongest, but I mean, if you pick up PSA 10 short print, for a decent price, and they go to playoffs, boom, you're back in that playoff swing, just like we're running into with basketball right now.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. Yeah, I think basketball needs to start heating up right now. You know what I mean? But I would expect a steep decline on it. Like, so if you're looking to sell basketball, sell the crap out of it right now, because I'm pretty sure the cliff is a coming. Because the off season is right around the corner. But this is literally prime time. Any players you have that are in the playoffs, you guys want to get them listed. Like, man, John Morant went off last night. Like, I've already listed a few John Morants this morning for a buddy of mine. You know what I mean? Because he's like, man, I need to get them inflated prices. So
definitely, I mean, you look at how he played. Curry's been having a great season. He's not going to be obviously in the playoffs, but his cards will probably continue to kind of stay where they are for the most part. They'll obviously go down some because of the off season, but but these guys who, have these games like this where they just come out of nowhere and just, have one of their like career games, or maybe a cornerstone or a milestone in their career or their early career, that's where you start to see like value start to just kind of start rolling, where they, okay, they have one good game. Okay, 2 games, 1 or 2 games later, boom, they have another game. You see people start getting hyped on them, and that's when, you want to try and hit the buy button, or at least think about these guys, whenever the playoffs are almost over, and pick them up for the low for next year.
Definitely. So Theodore brings up a great point here, and I've been doing the exact same thing with some of like the newer sets that I deem iconic. Like, I've been picking up a lot of 96, 97 Topps Chrome lately, just because I feel like it's Kobe. You know what I mean? It's like another generation's MJ. You know what I mean? It was like MJ, Kobe, LeBron. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's going to also be iconic. But yeah, this is a great strategy. 86 Fleer, Barkley, Ewing, Mullins, Dominique, Olajuwon. Yep, very reasonable, and those cards are tough to grade. Yep, very iconic, man. I agree with you 100%, man. It's definitely going to go down as like an iconic set. So here's a question DJ Rose is asking. He says, any feedback on Revolution card grading and their slabs? So I've heard of them. I haven't actually looked into them that much. So let's go take a look, see what we think. Have you heard of them, Nate?
Revolution card grading? No, I haven't heard anything about them.
Yeah, I've heard of them. I haven't actually looked into them or anything.
Hobby Beast, what up? He said, did you guys watch the Warriors Grizzly game? It was an awesome game. It was, man.
It was dope, man.
Dylan Brooks, man, he played a lot of great defense. Not only yesterday's game, but the game before that, to even, push to, the A seed. So
Does Revolution card grading have like a website? I'm
no.
seeing like a Twitter and a Facebook and an Instagram. Do they not have like a website?
Honestly,
I'll share my screen, show you what I see.
I never heard of the company.
You see my kitty?
Yeah.
JR says, what's your thoughts on BGS 9.5 versus PSA 9/10? I'm always going to be a big PSA guy. You know, they're the biggest draw of the market to get the most money. You know, great for investment pieces. If you have, you know, like a Kobe rookie or whatever, it's going to help bring you that's you know, super high end dollar. I mean, unless you would send it to like Beckett and it gets like the pristine, you know, where it gets all 10s, that would be the only way that I would ever consider, you know, going the other direction on something like that. But PSA 10s are where you want to be. I wish I would have did things a little bit different when I first jumped into, you know, buying cards and collecting. I got a lot of 9s. But part of it is because I didn't want to go super deep in one player. I wanted to get a bunch of cards and, you know, kind of fill out what I was doing, because I was kind of, you know, back in new again, getting into stuff. But you know what I mean? Like PSA 10s those are in those investment pieces that you have. I mean, unless it's somebody that's, you know, an older card from the 60s or something like that, where, you know, a PSA 7 is a heck of a find because, you know, it's a, you know, 70-year-old card or something like that, then that would be different. But anything that's like, you know, in the, I would say 2000s, I would say you want to get, you know, a PSA 10 is, you know, for an investment piece.
So they're expensive. So their cheapest price to submit is $35 per card. And if you do 50 plus, then it's $33 a card. That's neat. Are they AI or? Because like their slab to me kind of looks
like HGA.
Kind of look like HGA. Yeah. But
that's the one thing that worries me. Like
it's not quite. I don't think it's as clean as HGA though. You know what I mean? But it's very similar to HGA.
Like you see a lot of different companies coming out because of, you know, software grading capabilities and stuff like that.
Tamper proof, revolutionary slab printing technology.
But like whenever we go to shows or you know, when we go to the national, you know, if you go to a vendor and want to trade something or you know, you want to, you know, try and like upgrade something that you have, they want to see Beckett and PSA for the most part. You know what I mean? So like that's what it throws me off with some of these newer companies that kind of pop up. It worries me on especially big investment pieces. If it's something like, you know, like a cheaper card or whatever, you know, and it has a cool look and you're wanting for your PC, or, you know, you're getting something situated for somebody as a gift or something like that or whatever, then that's where I like, you know, the other ones, you know what I mean?
Yeah. What question were you on? Were you still talking about Revolution? I was just checking to see if they were doing the AI stuff. But yeah, I mean, good. I hope they do well. I mean, I want to see every new card company do well, because honestly, that just gives us as collectors, investors, flippers, like whatever box you put yourself in, it just gives us more opportunity to make money and monetize our hobby. But yeah, I hope they do well. Like I really do. Like I know when HGA first came out, Paul, speaking of Paul, what up, my dude? When HGA first came out, Paul sent me a link and he's like, what do you think of these guys? I was like, 35 a card. No one's going to use a brand new company for 35 a card. And then I was like, oh, wait, it's AI. So yeah, people might try that. You know what I mean? Like that's one thing I really like about what Pure Graded's doing, is the fact that they're incorporating that from the beginning. You know what I mean? Because if there's not some kind of standard and like you're new to like the industry, it's hard to, and from seeing here, it looks like Revolution does use AI as well. So that's good. So good. Yeah. So they do use AI. So that's awesome. But yeah, it's just one of those things. Like I think it has to become industry standard. How does it not? You know what I mean? Like unless you have the reputation of like a BGS, a PSA, or whatnot, like how can you not? You know what I mean? How can people take? Because people still don't take GMA's grade seriously. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't until like I actually started making money on their stuff that I started, oh yeah, this is legitimate. Like they actually do a good job grading these. You know what I mean? So, and they've been around for a long time. You know what I mean? So like I think the industry needs something like this to kind of almost bring kind of a legitimacy to it. I want to say what's up to David. I appreciate you being here, my dude. And then we also got DJ in the house. I definitely appreciate both you guys. You guys are hanging out up on the background now. Appreciate that.
One thing about like the AI grading and stuff like that, like even though like, there's AI or whatever, every company's going to do their AI grading different because like, for PSA, for example, they go super hard on surface where, with the centering, they're a little more lenient, and vice versa with different companies. Well, other companies might not be as hard on surface, but they're harder on corners and centering. So it just varies, and it's kind of like their blueprint of how they grade it with that software. They kind of dial it up, and then it's able to kind of mass produce the grades versus having someone like myself or Pittsburgh look at each and every card under one of these or one of our microscopes that we have that we use to grade the stuff with.
Yep. So Joseph said football might be weak this year just because a lot of people are going to be focusing on Trevor Lawrence and a lot of the other teams like the Jets, Lions, Eagles. He doesn't trust them to be near the playoffs or whatnot. So what do you think, man? Like I think initially, like going into the season and like when a lot of cards drop, I think they're going to be hot just because there's so many like quarterbacks to go after this year. Obviously, Lawrence is the guy you want, but I mean, the other guys are pretty good too, So, I mean, just like this last year was awesome. You know what I mean? We had Tua, we had Burrow, we had Herbert, even Hurts and Love to an extent. You know what I mean? So, I think there's going to be some decent money to be made, but I can definitely see what you mean. Like as far as like cashing out playoff time and stuff like that on people will be a lot harder with, some of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing is if you're able to pick one of these quarterbacks out, say it's like a Hurts situation where, okay, he's I think he was a second round pick, second or third round pick. There's not a lot of draft capital. He's not every 2 seconds on the news or on ESPN. If you're picking up those guys early because either maybe PC the team or maybe you just think, okay, he's cheap. I'm not going to put a lot of money in. I can get lots of his stuff for $5 or whatever. It's kind of like what I was doing with Tyler Hero whenever he first came in the league and stuff like that. Just buying lots of it where everyone's on Zion and Ja. I'm gonna go here, so it's almost like okay, everyone go here. I'm gonna go here, but I'm gonna make more money here because I'm buying so much more for lower with less risk.
Yep.
Well, maybe not less risk, maybe a little more risk because he might not pan out, but I'm not putting as much coin in. Is what I meant.
Yeah, no, I got you.
Yeah.
Understood. So I'm going to pull up market movers right quick, look into some Ja Morant. And we'll look into a little bit of Tatum. I don't know if Ja is going to have the immediate jump because sometimes it takes 24 hours to really reflect, what just happened over there with the eBay stats and stuff. So it might not be like a full reflection of like kind of what's happening. But we'll take a look at it. Let's see popular cards. We'll look at Ja, and then we'll look at Tatum. Tatum, actually, let's look at Tatum first because we might have better stats with Tatum right now. You just want to look at his Prism base. Does that sound good? Prism. We'll go base. We'll look at the PSA 10. That should be like the quickest stats to kind of have. But here's another question here by Theodore. It's guard dominated draft coming up. I love Sexton and Garland. Me too. What if the Cavs have the top pick? Do you think they will trade either or for a front court player? Honestly, I wouldn't hate them doing something like that. I like them both as well. Personally, I think Garland has more upside. Like I think he has more natural talent. I think Sexton's a killer though. You know what I mean? But the problem with Sexton is he needs so many reps to get that killing. You know what I mean? He's like one of them needs to keep stabbing to get them shots. But I think right now on the market, Sexton has more value. So we could probably get a bigger piece for Sexton. But I don't know. That's a really interesting. And plus Sexton's contract's up after this next year, I believe, his rookie contract. So if they're not planning to extend him, like this would be a good time to do something like that. Not that I don't think they can build a winner around both of those guys, but it'll be interesting. I would love to see the Cavs get the top pick though, because with season ticket plan I get to go do a meet and greet with whoever they get. So give me somebody good. So Brandon says, I'm so new to the investment market game. This is the question I was looking up. My bad. So looking at Tatum right quick. Search. Let me share my screen. All right. So here's Jason Tatum. This year has not been good to Jason Tatum, has it?
No, I mean it's kind of been that way with a lot of different people, unless
How do I change the date range again, Nate? Do you remember?
Top left.
We're right here. This high
over a little bit more.
Okay.
Up. It's a white bar.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yep. Right there. Yep.
All right. So let's see. Let's just go this past week on Jason Tatum. We don't need like all that data. Is it not complete yet, or what? Or is it flat in the past week?
I was looking at stuff earlier, and it was kind of the same thing. Like it wasn't.
This is essentially saying it's flat in the last week.
But there has been sales, because like right now I'm looking on eBay like manually.
Yeah,
and like
go another week.
His base was from the 22nd, which was today.
Oh, I'm going 1 day. No wonder. Durr. Okay, I'm an idiot. That's why. Here we go. Sorry, guys. It's user error. Sorry, DJ Sexland. That's awesome, Brandon. He said he got most of his cards from our auctions.
Yeah, I sent out basically almost everything I had over here. So
MSC, what up?
What up?
You're not a bother. We love having you guys here.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate any type of questions and just you guys hanging out with us.
I agree with you big time, Theodore. I get that. That's the slab arbitrage I've been going after right now, is those 9.5s, because I don't think the gap's going to always be this big between PSA and BGS. You know what I mean? Like I just don't see it remaining this large. You know what I mean? To where there's that much of a discrepancy. So I think there's a little room to be made on that. What's up, Michael?
When did the Celtics play? Was it 3 days ago? 3 days ago?
Yeah, it might have been 2 days. It might have been 2 days ago. So let's see. I mean, like there was a dip going into it, so at least that game probably brought it back up to what it was. But yeah, I mean that should definitely be up more off of that game.
It's
technically down 2.1 in the last like week and a half. All right, let's go to Ja, because this is depressing me.
The one thing you got to think about too is, I wouldn't even look at base unless it was like, one of them super high dollar, like, for example, like a LeBron rookie, like tops or something like that. Then it kind of doesn't matter. But like,
well, I'm just looking at the base just for the easiness of like.
No, I know,
so
right.
many,
But the first thing you're gonna see whenever the market moves, you're gonna see silvers move first, and then you're gonna see like the short term.
I first should have went silver first. That probably would have been better. Yeah, let me actually go back and make that silver. That's a great idea.
Silver is the first thing that moves. That's the indicator of kind of how the market is going to go with the other stuff. It kind of follows the leader, kind of.
Yep. Silver's looks like it's starting to move 33%. Oh wait, no, that's yeah, that's the same time frame.
That's jumping, right? Yep.
33%. Yep. Dude, I'm so glad I was picking up Ja whenever he was like 48% down earlier in the season. Dude, like between him and Luka, like in my opinion, they're like my two favorite players that aren't a Cav. But yeah, so that I don't know why I didn't go silver first. That's a great point, man. I've always been picking the base, but yeah, silvers do move first.
Yeah, I mean that's the first thing I look at. You know, that's where you get the quickest reaction to the market. You see the silvers because the big money people go for those first, and those are a little more rare than like the base and stuff like that. So that stuff will trickle. You know, if they would have like a good, you know, they say like the Celtics or the Grizzly beat the next round opponent, which is a surprise because they're a lower seed or whatever the case is. You know, then you might see the base maybe go up a little bit or whatever. But, you know, for the most part, the first thing I look at is silver, and then I look at the short prints because those are the hotter commodities that, you know, people are going to want right off the bat because, look at kind of the base market. It's kind of been really, really rough. If you have anything graded base, you know, you could see the prices just kind of slowly tumbling, and it might be settling right now until unless they are out of the playoffs, and that might be a different thing. But but that's the first thing I do.
Michael says, "How come I don't hear a lot of people sending to BGS and they're not, or excuse me, and they're still accepting cards?" Honestly, I think a lot of that has to do with price. I mean, they've been 35 a card to where it was cheaper to send a PSA, and PSA comes back with better resale value. So one thing I really believe, like I know the collector drives like the market, like they're the reason that the slabs are being graded and sold and all of that stuff, but there's always like some form of flipper that sends bulk stuff, you know what I mean? And their mentality is like the bottom line, like how much money they're going to make. And I think the majority of that probably would rather spend less money and make a little bit more. So I would imagine that's probably why. I'd say since PSA's closed, I would imagine a lot more people have been sending to Beckett. I have 3 orders there right now. Mine are all like really small orders though. Like I've sent them mainly like autos and stuff like that to grade. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like that's a good question. Like you don't see as many reveal videos even for them online as you do for like PSA and some of the other companies and stuff. But I know right now they're close to a year behind. So that could be why. Like they're absolutely slammed.
I mean, you know, because of the king of the values, PSA, you know, a lot of people are going PSA. So
Spider, good to see you, my man.
BGS just doesn't get the amount of submissions that PSA does, and you know, so on and so forth. You know what I mean? And they don't, you know, they just don't grade as much per day or whatever. You know what I mean? And you know, because of just how the card market has been, everything, you know, just like PSA has a big backlog, so do they. You know what I mean? They're running on, you know, what they probably ran on for a long time, adding people here and there, but for the most part, they're going through a massive backlog as well.
Yep. Say what's up to my man Paul Antonelli. Appreciate you being here. Paul says Cav should trade Love while he still has a little value. They've been trying to trade him since like 2015, bro.
his contract is literally like ridiculous.
Oh my god,
I think he made like $2 million a game this year.
You know why they did that too? Like they were like, we are so worried that we will not get another all-star caliber player come to Cleveland. Like once LeBron and Kyrie are both gone. So like they're like, okay, let's just overpay Kevin Love like a crazy amount of money to sit on the bench because he's always hurt. Nothing against Kevin Love though. I love him. He's one of my favorite players, but it does suck that like we're cap strapped over it. Especially when you have Larry Nance Jr. on the team. Right, Nate? Let's give that PT to Larry Nance Jr.
I'm just gonna give you the
Oh,
because
you haven't busted one of those out in a while.
I can't agree with you on that one.
Dude, I agree with you there, Joseph. That's a heck of a buy right there. Yep. See, that's the type of different values that PSA has. You know what I mean? Like it's so hard to compete with that. It really is.
Yeah, a PSA 9 last sold for 610, and the last BGS 9.5 sold for 760 on that zone. So I mean, there's a little bit of a difference. I'm actually surprised. I think a little bit has to do with it just being a super short print where it having that is giving it the little more of a push than typically would be a little more neck and neck.
So, who do you think is going to be the rookie of the year, Nate?
I'm gonna probably have to go with LaMelo, man. LaMelo was he looks like he's gonna be special, man, and just Charlotte getting into the play it in games and having a shot at possibly making the playoffs, just after not having him for a big chunk of the season. I think if they can add that centerpiece, that stretch centerpiece, or at least a Drummond type guy, where hey, I'm gonna get rebounds, I'll make some dunks, I'll play some defense. I don't need the ball 30, 40 times a game to score and do different things. I'll just do the dirty work and do my thing. If they can find a guy like that and let LaMelo do his thing and throw oops just like Russell Westbrook and all these other guys were doing the last couple of days, I think they can have a chance to be special. But they got to stay healthy. Gordon Hayward, he's been having some rough luck the last couple of years with injuries and stuff like that. So I just hope that contract doesn't just keep them where they are. They don't, I hope they start to climb a little more in the rankings and the standings next year versus kind of staying where they're at.
Yeah, I totally agree. Man, honestly, like when Melo was out for the longest time, I was like, dude, Halliburton might get this. But then he got hurt, and I was like, oh. You know what I mean? Like Tyrese Halliburton, man, is so underrated, I think, in this draft class. Like he's so underrated. I think he's a lot better than a lot give him credit for. I think he had a real shot before he got hurt. I do think it's going to be really close between Melo and Ant-Man, but I feel like Melo has meant more to his team. So I'm going to give Melo the edge just because I feel like he means more to his team.
Quickly didn't play bad either. He didn't play a ton of minutes, and they are a playoff team. They finished fifth, I think, or fourth.
Johnny,
they're playing he's only averaging like 19 minutes a game, coming in scoring 11 points, 12 points a game, and adding stats across the board. Good foul shot shooter. Almost shot 40% from three. I mean, for where he got picked, he was a nice pickup for them too.
Yeah, definitely. So Johnny, I do have some Jaws for sale. I have a lot out for grading, but if I don't have like the ones you want, I know for a fact some of my like designer guys have them. So I will hook you up, my friend.
I got some Joe. I got some Prism, red, white, and blue, and base PSA dimes.
I'm kind of in that same role. Brandon, I started with, man, like you should have seen, like I had an entire safe full of like PSA 9, BGS 9, SGC 9, like just base Prism stuff. And then I was like, yeah, that's probably not the smartest investment in 2019 for 2019 cards. So I started blowing those out and trying to get so essentially what my plan now is I'm using a lot of the young guys and a lot of the liquid stuff to grade and flip to kind of build up to like the kind of cards that I feel like are safe longer term. Like John Morant's a guy I literally am investing in long term. So I went out and bought a rookie Prism auto of his, you know what I mean? Because I figured the Prism's going to be like literally graded into the ground, but I figure the auto might be safe. You know what I mean? And worst comes to worst, I'm a sucker for rookie autos. So plus I love John Morant. So that's kind of what I've been doing. I've been trying to kind of move a lot of like those less valuable pieces that I feel like are bad pop wise into stuff that's like very low pop and just a little more unique. You know what I mean? Just I feel like that would sell it a little more. Day's in the house. What is up, my dude? Appreciate you being here. He said he heard this. Oh wait, no, my bad. Money bound. Say what's up to you too, though, my man. He said, "What's up, guys? New to the channel, just getting back into collecting. What is the cost of grading cards now at PSA?" So right now, PSA has suspended every single submission level except for Super Express, which is 300 doll hairs per card. So they will be reopening in July, and they should come back at a lower, more affordable rate. But they haven't really announced what that's going to be yet. So essentially what I think they're going to do is just open up other submission levels. They may not even open up a lot of like the cheap ones. A lot of people have said they'd be surprised if it's like sub $50 to send them a card now, which, I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can't make money on grading for $50. So that would kind of control their pop count a little bit. So it'll be real interesting to see what happens there. Do you have any insight on that, being a PSA group submitter, Nate?
I think that they'll come in around the $25 to $30 mark. I think they'll raise prices probably another $5-10, to make up some ground with some money that they haven't been, adding into their stockpile. Because I mean, if you think about it, it's like putting money in the bank every time they get an order. You know what I mean? Like they'll get done, they're gonna get paid eventually. So I think they raise the price. I don't think they're gonna raise it above Beckett or HGA. I think they come in just a hair down. To get the wave to come back in nice and strong, like they're used, like it's been, and give, where you're grading short prints and color and stuff like that, and you could still send those things in, but, with the base and things like that, you're making sure that's at least a PSA 10 going in the door, value wise, unless it's, like a Tatum or something, then of course, $30, you grade those all day and, it's a 10 or whatever. But, what I mean, that's kind of my thought on it. I don't think they'll go double, I don't think they'll go anything like that. They want to keep their market share where it's been, and they've always kind of been like the best bang for your buck value wise and, with the market. So if they want to continue that pace, they got to represent the price where it is still the best deal around, price wise, because of their value and everything. So,
yeah, I agree. I totally agree. And that's one of the main reasons the majority of my heat is at PSA right now and not at BGS or SGC, because like I said earlier, it was cheaper to send, like through Nate's group submission, I was sending cards to PSA cheaper than I was SGC. So it was like, that was a no-brainer. Like, you make so much more money off of a PSA slab than you do off of an SGC one. So totally agree with that. And Day, I hope so, man, because I'll tell you what, we're all on a come up if that's the case. You know what I mean? But I honestly don't think PGX is really trying to do like PSA or like anyone else. I just feel like it's like, hey man, we just want to do our thing, and that's what's up. Pat Dees is in the house. What is up, my guy? Pat, I have a mission should you choose to accept it. I need you to talk to Malad and get him to talk to Subway and get them to get keto bread, because your boy loves Subway sandwiches and all I can eat is those protein bowls. So see what you can do for me, Pat. At least some keto wraps, man.
Seen Day Doll ask, how do you know what short prints are? You see how this one is colored and it has like, the different variation or whatever on it. And then this is the base. It would be just a plain, no silver, no hollow, no color whenever you go back and forth. And unless the only other way would be if it had like a number on the back or whatever, where it says like, 199 out of 25 or whatever, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's kind of, that's the best way to see like what's a short print versus, base. It just, it has some type of color variation or serial number on it.
Yep. And a lot of times the ones with serial numbers and stuff like that are considered like super short prints.
Right.
But yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah, I saw I think it was a orange prism Tatum go for 18,000. It was numbered out of 49, and it was a PSA 10 or something like that. So if you can get a star player like that early in the game, and he flourishes and turns into something where like a Tatum or a John Moran or something like that, man, you're in some money. So you'll definitely know what a super short print is. That's for sure.
Definitely. So DJ says the pure graded X Select and Prism promo is awesome. What would be some good guys to get graded? Yeah, that honestly, like, they put out a new promo today. I haven't heard it yet, but I can go check. But yesterday, man, they had a sick promo where like you could send in any card and you got an SP slab for free with your order. So like you got like a second card. And they were running a Hall of Fame order, so you could send in like literally anybody that just made the Hall of Fame for like $10, and probably the card you're getting back is worth more than that. So it's like stupid value right now. It's like, man, I really don't want to tell this story because I'm going to do a video on it, because I literally just hit the biggest card I've ever hit in a break just the other night through like one of their. They do these Instagram lives where if you submit like even one card to them, you get a spot in a break. And my God, like, wait till you guys see. Like, I'm gonna put a video out this week. I don't want to tell you the card, but like, I don't even want to tell you what I turned down, because literally, like, the second to last card, I was like, oh yeah, I'm taking that one. And then Alan's like, no, I think it's gonna be really, really hard because you're gonna really like this back card too. And like, I turned down something that you would think me as a collector of this would never turn down.
Was it bigger than that swirl MVP LeBron? That bigger than that? Wow.
I mean, it wasn't like a regular Prism. It was Prism Draft that I hit it in. So it was a rookie card. But yeah, I turned down like the biggest O-core in the set pretty much. Because I hit something pretty big. Yeah, but it was sick, man. Yeah, Day says it was fire. Yeah, Day was in that break. Who did you hit in the break, Day? And then I hit a baseball auto in the first break we did that day, which honestly I don't know baseball that much, but it was numbered out of 20 and it was an auto, so I was like, scoop. I was gonna give it a name, but I don't even remember who it is, to be honest. And then the sick thing is they slab the card for you before they send it to you. So it's like, awesome. Dude, it's like you're like making money before you even grade the card. It's insane. Joel says, are you going to grade it with PGX? I'm grading for them, but like anything that's mine, I'm pretty sure is not going to be graded by me. I'll still give them my insights. Like I sent them a Charizard. I was like, yeah, this thing is straight beat. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm not expecting anything like phenomenal. I just kind of want the slab to look pretty. So, so I sent them the Charizard for that reason only. Like it was very, very well played, to say the least. What about us non-sports card guys? Dude, we will grade pretty much any kind of card. Right now, we can only grade like standard thickness, like this. But the owners are in talks to get custom slabs made to do other stuff, and there may be something else in the future, but I don't know. I don't even want to say it because it's definitely not a thing. But let's just say that I think that it'd be pretty cool if they started a division for this stuff too. But I don't know. I don't know anything about grading comics either. I just think they're cool. Oh yeah, Johnny won the Jalen Hurts. That's sick, bro. That's right, man. That is what's up, dude. Yeah, so they were giving away so basically the people that were in break spots this week and last week, it's basically just the people who've done any kind of submission with them. So they all got put into a separate break, and the winner of that got like a silver select. I think it might have been a premier or a club Jalen Hurts, and Johnny won that bad boy. So that was sick. Oh man, you definitely deserved that, man. Also, guys, here's a reminder for tomorrow. Every single Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern time, we do a live sports card auction, and it's either on my channel here or it's on Nate's channel. And typically, like, we'll do a live show like this once a week. So whoever hosts this doesn't host the auction type thing. So tomorrow we're going to be over on Nate's channel, and we're going to be auctioning off some good stuff. The way the spot works, Paul, is you need to submit while they're for the break. You need to submit while they're on an IG live. But since you submitted in general, you were most likely in the generator that Johnny won, because I'm pretty sure that was for just everybody that submitted. So yeah, I think I might have had like 3 spots in it, and like I think I was like the 3rd name on the list. So it was like one person and then Johnny hit it. But yeah, it was sick. So yeah, you were probably in that. But yeah, if you guys don't follow them on IG, anytime they go live, I'm thinking, like I was talking with Alan, he might try to make it a regular Thursday evening thing, like 5 or 6 o'clock LA time. So like our time Eastern, that'd be like 8 or 9 p.m. So if that's the case, like you guys don't want to miss the breaks. Like, so the break literally was either metal draft or prism draft, but it was the kind that has like the tiger stripes, and like the worst card you can get out of the box is a silver rookie. And the other one, literally every single card is a numbered rookie auto. So it's like somebody's hitting something huge and other people are at least getting something decent, you know? He said it's the first time he won a giveaway yet. Dude, I never win either. That's why when I hit that number 1 spot for that prism draft thing, I went in my pants, man. Yep. Nate also put in here for our Facebook group. We're starting a fantasy football league again this year. We've had one for like the last 2 years, but this one's going to be open to everybody. Anyone that wants to participate. So what we do with that is we'll actually go live like we are right now. I believe the StreamYard that we use can have up to 10 people on the screen at once. So you can come in and be a part of it if you want, or if you don't want to be on screen, you could always do this, and we don't have to see it or whatever. You can hang out with us, or you just don't have to do that. You could just draft online like you normally would and watch us. Or you could just be in the chat and haze me like Nate's probably going to for picking Steelers.
Steelers. Definitely the former Steelers. I can't really go too hard on Steelers because, of course.
So there's the link to the Facebook group, guys. Make sure you go over there. We put all of our group submission stuff in there as well. And I'm pretty sure that this bearded guy over here is going to be kicking off some more submissions soon, because he's been kind of on a holding pattern since PSA shut down. Because you just submit the PSA, right, Nate?
Yeah, that's the only thing I've submitted to so far.
Okay.
If they were gonna, basically push it out like longer, them not grading anything, then I would have shifted gears a little quicker. But there was some reports of PSA moving through some, but I think their backlog is still pretty strong. But I mean, it's a little more manageable, I would say now.
Yeah, I agree. Joel says, so crazy how so many people went from not buying John Morant and the market is soft to buying him like hotcakes. I know, man. That's what happens. Playoff basketball. Like it's the most wonderful time of year. Literally every day you can watch playoff games and hear cha-ching, 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 because your eBay sales are going off. The beautiful thing though is, like, honestly, like I've been trying to like take a lot of my stuff off eBay lately. You know what I mean? And just because then I can give people cheaper deals and I can still make the same kind of money. You know what I mean? It's like a win-win situation.
We got three games on today. I just lost my list, but
I thought there was 4 today. No.
Hold on.
You know what I'm kind of thinking about doing? When you do a members only live, is it actually live for like the whole internet to see, or no?
No, if it's members only.
Is it kind of just like a private StreamYard hangout?
Well, the people who are members would be able to see it only.
Like, kind of what I'm asking is, we wouldn't be able to like stream playoff games with like our members and stuff, and just like have a hangout where we watch games and stuff, would we?
No,
Because would that still be a copyright strike, even though like, we're not like to the whole public?
Yeah, I mean, unless we did just a private hangout without YouTube at all, and it was just like a StreamYard or something, then we could do something like that. But if we use like basically any YouTube, Twitch, anything like that, Facebook, the copyright hammer will come down.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's going to be rough, because I think I have more people than can actually come in and hang out. But man, I've been wanting to like try something like that, like interactive. Let's hang out. Let's watch sports. Let's play games. Something like that. Are you down to try that soon? You want to do that with me?
Yeah, we can.
So I know you have a lot of the same members I do. So we could probably kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Yeah, if any of you guys are interested in that, let me know. If it's a stupid idea, let me know too. But I love that stuff. So Paul says people do live streams of pay-per-view all the time. They have it playing in the back as they act as okay. So like the sound, or like, for example, like where my green screen is here, could I have like the game playing behind me?
See, we did that. We did that for the football draft. Like it was just a regular, football draft, not fantasy. It was like an actual draft, and we got to play it or whatever. But we got a copyright strike after that.
My idea here would be like literally just us all hanging out here on the side, chatting and stuff, like we're the Brady Bunch, and then just over here we'd be watching whatever game's on type thing.
Oh, there is 4 games on today. You were right.
Yeah, because I know I'm definitely going to be watching some of them. Like, I got a bunch of cards to go over today and stuff like that, but and I got to get a video for tomorrow. I missed one yesterday, and it, like, made me feel guilty all day. But I wasn't feeling good, man. My back has been killing me.
I'm so used to my dual screens or whatever. Like, I need a independent, like, just TV down here just for, sports, like, especially, like, today, like, there's 4 games. Like, there's not a moment I won't be watching the basketball today.
Oh, so we can't. So you guys wouldn't be able to see it, but I'd be able to. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, maybe we'll just do a private hangout type thing, because I mean, even if people can't all get up on the screen, we could at least switch them in and out, every so often, and still talk and stuff. Are you willing to save some birds, Nate? That's what I want to know. Pat Dees would like to know: are we going to save the birds?
Bird. The bird's the word.
Pat, he's been building them a nest for the past 2 years.
Right? All this beard.
Heck yeah. So, do you guys have any other questions, like in regards to the market, grading, just anything? Me and Nate are more than happy to do our best to answer it, and if not, we can find an answer for you. But yeah, members, I know we've been saying that the members only live is coming, but it's really coming. It's really coming. If the problem is, me and Nate have to get aligned on our schedules, and my schedule just changed, and his is about to change. So,
which just got pushed back like another week or so.
Really, that sucks.
Yeah, they were supposed to be on my ship this week, which would make me be on that new ship like the week after, worst case scenario the week after that. But now it's not happening probably till June, I would say.
That sucks. Have you had any issues with Mr. Burns lately, your boss?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how long you guys have been following us, but his boss was like a staple. We used to have a morning show. Man, what was that, like even a year ago at this point, maybe more? We used to have a morning show, and like literally every day we'd rip on this dude. So like, what's the update with Mr. Burns, man? Is this dude still like messing with you?
Oh, of course, man. Like, he's always trying to throw me under the bus one way or another.
Touche, Pat. I probably used that wrong. Mom would be here and be like, yeah, you didn't use that right, Anthony. He said about killing the 2 birds, 1 stone. So it's building a nest for 2 birds, 1 beard.
So we got 4 games today. Who do you like out of Miami and Milwaukee?
Who do I like out of Miami and Milwaukee?
Mhm.
Like for the series or for today?
You could say, well, yeah, we'll just do it for the series. Who you like for this? Who you think's gonna win the series?
I think Milwaukee's going to win it, but I think Miami's a dark horse. I really think Miami can knock them off if any team can. Like I think that might be the best first round matchup. Like where I could see either one of those teams taking it.
Yeah,
Hey, you too, Pat. Appreciate you, man.
honestly, I think the best like pound for pound matchup in the first round is probably Portland, Denver. I think that's like the probably the two teams that are like the closest like talent wise and everything. If they had Jamal Murray, I think Denver definitely wins that series just like last year. But this year it's going to be a fight.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree.
If Dallas can get Porzingis to produce, the Clippers might be in a little bit of trouble, but just like last year, he ended up getting hurt during the series and gets, then he's out for the series, and Luke has to carry the team on his back. So,
you know what's going to happen to Porzingis?
What's that?
He's going to get the claw.
Yeah, I think so too. I think the Clippers will win that.
Dude, Porzingis is nice, but he's soft, man. Like he is soft. Like you're 7'1", and I feel like I could push you around. You know what I mean? I'm 6'2", man. Like
Anthony Davis is similar build. Of
Anthony
course,
Davis would throw a bow in your face though. Like get away from my paint, man. You know what I mean?
He's they're built similar. Maybe Porzingis a little more lean, just a little bit more lean.
I like him. You know what I mean? I think he's a great player. I don't know, man. Like.
I thought he was gonna. I bought his PSA 10, and he was one of my dark horse pickups or whatever, and that flopped in my face a little bit. I mean, there's still a chance. He's still young. He just needs to kind of just get it put together. Which I hope, honestly, that they kind of trade him next year, and he can kind of start fresh or join up with somebody that maybe links up better with him. Because I just think Luka needs somebody that can have the ball in their hand, either bringing it up or creating. Porzingis is more like here, throw me the ball, I'll shoot it because I'm 8 foot tall.
Exactly.
Don't block my shot.
Yep, I totally agree. So Mike has a question here. I want to say what's up to Glenn too, Swamp Picker. I appreciate you being here, my guy.
Yeah.
He says, should different year cards be different pricing when graded? So that question, I guess, can be taken a few different ways. With modern cards, like basketball, right? So you might see a raw Ja Morant Prism base pretty close to like a 9 Ja Morant Prism base. But like, say it's Kobe's rookie from 96, 97. You might see a raw, just paper Topps rookie for $400, but then you go to even a PSA 9 version of that, and you're looking at like at least 2,000, maybe more. So it's just like one of those things where the older cards, when graded higher, have much more value than like even the newer ones when gemming. So if that makes sense, it's because grading wasn't as prevalent back then, so a lot of the cards weren't kept in mint condition like they are today. So there's just considerably less of them, which makes them more scarce and more valuable.
That, and also depending on what year, the 90s, of course, the print runs were ridiculous. But, when you get closer to like the, 98s, the 2000, early 2000s, the print runs start to, get not as bad. So, that also plays a factor too.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. Well, I think we're going to get wrapping up today, guys, but make sure you come check us out tomorrow on Nate's channel at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 1 p.m. Pacific if you're on the West Coast. And I'm going to probably drop a video this week, guys, with a big fire sale of some of Marty's stuff. Like I'm talking heat. So if any of you guys are interested in that, I may start doing one of those a week as well, because I have many monster boxes here of like straight fire to go through, guys. So I'll put some of it in the auction tomorrow, but I'll definitely be putting out another one of them fire sales this week. So stay tuned for that as well. Any other things you got going on this week, Nate? Anything you want to plug?
I just dropped the link for the auction again. Also, I have a video coming out next week on my PSA Express orders that I got in from PSA. And last but not least, I'm gonna drop a link for my Twitch channel. It's a gaming channel, but we could talk sports. We could do anything like that. I play Grand Theft Auto.
He swears at little kids. That's what happens. No, I'm just kidding. I'm putting him on blast. He's all up on Front Street.
Not on this new server I'm on. It's a little more responsible people.
Hey, Sandy.
See a lot more responsible people versus like the toxic craziness. So definitely a good time. Like I said, we could talk anything. It doesn't have to be sports. It could just be, hey, how you doing? Da da da. Yeah.
I'm gonna literally show up and say, hey, how are you doing? Da 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 da.
You do that.
You go live. That's what's gonna happen.
You do that.
Next time I get that little purple alert, how you doing? Da 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 da.
You might see it if one of these games gets out of hand. You might see me on there because. Yeah. I'm not going to watch another game, someone get up by 30, and then, it's kind of a blowout. Like the first game between Indiana and the Hornets, and then Indiana got that blown up by the Wizards.
Awesome, Sandy. I'm so happy you got it. Yeah, I just sent it out yesterday, I believe. So, yeah, that's fast. But you're in Pittsburgh, too. If anytime you ever get something, if you want it like a meetup pickup and you want to save the money on that, I'm cool with that, too. But completely up to you. I'm more than happy to ship stuff. I have to do it every day anyway, so it's just, no big deal. But here's Nate's Twitch, guys, if you want to check that out. I just want to say a big thank you again to everybody that has their pictures below me just for the support and like the genuine friendship, and everybody that's here watching as well. Thank you so much. And we will see you guys